Hey guys, welcome back. So in the last video we had added this background into our game, and now it is finally time to create our player. Now there are three components in this particular game. One is the player, second is the goal, the basically the treasure chest which player has to acquire in order to win the game. Third is the enemy, that if the player gets collided with the enemy, the game is over. All right. So whenever you are starting a game, the very first thing that you have to do is you have to create your player component first. All right. I mean, it's not a strict rule, but it should always be your choice. All right. Why? Is because whenever you are creating a game, so your input, your player, I mean the actual people who are going to play your game, how they are going to interact with your game, so that should be your first focus point, because the more conveniently they are able to interact with your game, so the more number of players you will have and they'll be happy to play your game. Okay, so one big example over here is, for example, let's say if I am trying to make this game for a mobile phone, okay, touchscreen devices. Now if I just go ahead and bind the keyboard keys to this particular game, and if I don't take care of the touchscreen controls, then even if my game is launched on a mobile phone, still the players will not be able to play my game because I don't have any on-screen controls for this. So that is why it is very important to keep these things in mind, that for whatever platform that you are going to target, okay, so you have to make sure that your players, the persons, the people who are going to play your game is going to be they are flawlessly, they are able to interact with your game, and that's how you can create a successful game. Okay, so in our case I'm also going to take the player first. Okay, so we are going to create our player first, right? So on the tabs over here in the 2D viewport, I'll click this plus button to create a new tab, a new, you can say, a viewport. Okay, and here we will create a separate component for our player. Okay, so for the node, now our player is going to be interacting with the environment, as in for the treasure chest or with the enemies. So we want some root node which can detect collision. Since there is no physics or any complex simulation or calculation is required, for the sake of simplicity I'm going to use the area 2D node. Okay, so I double click in order to add the area 2D node, and let's rename this node as player. Okay, and now let's add a child, and let's add sprite 2D. Okay, and let's give it a name called player underscore sprite. Okay, and for the sprite, let's select, click load, click go to the art, and over here I'm going to select this player as my sprite. So again, let me drag it. Okay, all right, so now you guys can see the player sprite has been added. Now you can see this little warning sign. Basically it is asking that it doesn't have anything to collide with. So let's add the collision shape 2D. Okay, and from here, from the shape, I think the capsule shape would just do the work. So let me drag and try to adjust it. Yeah, this looks good. Okay, so now it is time to save our scene first. Okay, so go to the scene, click on save, and by default it is directing us to the scenes folder. But let me go ahead and create a new folder called components. Okay, and as the name suggests, the components folder is going to have our all our different individual component. Okay, now this particular component is a player component, so let's just save it. Okay, now our configuration is done. This is all we had to add in terms of the nodes. Now it is finally time to add this thing into our scene, so let's do that. So here, if I just click over here to minimize the art folder, I go to the components and let's see if we can drag. No. So while working with the mobile editor, you just need to be sure that you cannot drag the elements as you can do normally. So if I go ahead and click this change symbol, so here you can see I can add this player. And now let's keep this player somewhere over here, which looks fine to me. Go to scene, click save, and let's hit play button. And there we go. We have our player into our scene. Now at the moment this player is not doing anything, and let's just fix that in the next video. So see you in the next one.